What up, though, guys? It's your boy Stevie D here with sort of a kind of unofficial review of the Sony A7R III, which I just picked up a couple weeks ago. So I was in New York and I decided to take a few pictures while I was there, kind of just test the camera out, like running gun type situation. So I wanted to share kind of the pictures that I took, show you guys what's coming off the sensor. Although it may be a little bit boring, but I still figured I would share with you guys what I came up with. So most of the images was pretty much shot on the 50mm 1.8 Sony FE lens, which is a fantastic lens. I actually love 50mm lenses. I'm going to do a video about that, talking about the 50mm extensively in another video, but for this one, we're just talking about the camera in itself. So let's get right to it. You start with the first image. So again, I was in New York and I decided to get a few pictures of the camera, and we're going to go ahead and go through this. This one was shot, of course, across the street from B&H. It was at 1.8. It's a pretty good image as far as the dynamic range. I think Sony does a great job at capturing highlights and shadows pretty good. But what I noticed with this lens is there's a lot of chromatic aberration on this lens, a lot of purple fringing, but overall it's a pretty sharp image. I really enjoyed it. You can see around the one-way sign, you can see some of the purple fringing. Let me zoom in a little bit. You can see the purple fringing right there on the one-way sign. It's pretty bad too, but again, the lens is still sharp. I mean, we can look at this lady in the left hand corner. She's still pretty sharp, especially to be at 1.8. So then we have this image. I know, again, it's pretty boring, but I was just street walking and taking some pictures. I'll do a long length extensive beauty and fashion review pretty soon. But yeah, I think the A7R III is pretty sharp, especially with this 50mm lens. It's actually not bad. Even at 1.8, it's still pretty sharp, which is kind of dope. I mean, this is at 100%, so you can definitely see the detail in this little machine here, this little parking machine. Which parking was horrible in New York, as of course. I think we paid about 40 bucks to park, but that's New York. All right, so here's another image. Again, I think Sony does a great job at capturing highlights and shadows. I mean, it was pretty good. This is at 1.8 as well. But you see. Now this picture, it was, I wish I could have got the composition a little right, but it was just so many people in New York, and you would figure since it's cold, not too many people will be out. But this was at f5, and I just love the detail. If we zoom in on the window on this image, man, at 100%, I mean, this is a sharp image. I don't know how sharp it would have been at 1.8, but at f5, this is really sharp. I'm digging it. So let's go to the next one. Here's a video. I mean, a video. Here is a picture of a cement truck. The cement barrel, it's a little bit overexposed for my taste. But again, it was like one of those run and gun situations to where I wanted to just go out and get what I could. I love the colors. This is actually straight off the sensor, so this doesn't have any editing or anything like that to these images. And there is Steven Seagal, or his little brother Steve Seagal. Seagal, actually, so whatever. This is another image that I really like, just to show the detail. If we look at the pole, especially on the left hand side, this is at f5 again. The detail is amazing in this image. Sony did a real good job. I'm so proud of you guys. Here's another image. I think we were still near B&H. The sidewalk, and maybe the sign is a little bit blown out for my taste, but outside of that, it's pretty good. This was the F5 as well. Still pretty sharp. Let's go to the next one. This was, we were actually walking across the street, so you may see a little bit of camera shake down at the bottom, but the CWP sign, let's zoom in a little bit on that. I mean, it's still pretty sharp while we were walking, which is very impressive. This was across the street from B&H. If you guys have ever been to B&H, you probably saw this building. Again, this is actually at 2.8, and it's amazing the detail of this image. We zoom in on this brick at 100%. Man, look at that detail. It is pretty fantastic. But let me go ahead and speed through this. Here's my friend Greg. He is across the street from where we parked at our $40 parking spot. Again, he is super sharp at 1.8, which is pretty damn cool. So here's a bike. Let me zoom out a little bit. The chromatic aberrations is horrible on this lens, but I mean, it's a 50mm 1.8, so you know you can't expect that much, but it is pretty damn good even with the chromatic aberration. Detail again, pretty good. You can see pretty much all the writing on this keg, which was pretty dope. I'll move past that one. The detail on the traffic control sign, it is pretty fantastic, even at 1.8. I mean, you really can't beat that combo. If you're a photographer and you looking for a specific lens, get a 50mm lens. It's pretty dope. So, and then here's this little Yahoo. That's actually me. My friend Greg took that picture while we were downtown playing around. We were actually across the street from Times Square. So I just kind of struck a pose real quick, and I just thought this was funny. I only cry when ugly people hold me. But at 1.8 ISO 400, still pretty good. Still pretty good. Here is a picture of the W Hotel. I really wanted to capture like some of the building structures just so I can zoom in and see how sharp the image is. This is at 7.1. And man, this is just so sharp. I mean, if we look over here in these corners, whatever these grates are, I mean, I don't really like the moire on it, but it is pretty sharp. The windows, you can actually kind of see inside just a little bit. I mean, this is at 200%, and it is pretty good. So, love the sign, love the sharpness. This is at 2.8 ISO 100. Love the detail on this old sprinkler system, fire hose connection, whatever it may be. At 1.8, it's amazing. This was the one-way sign I started with, and here is the sign going into the Lincoln Tunnel, which is where we were getting ready to go. Young fellow out there just chilling. Again, if we zoom in some of these buildings, this was at 6.3. If we look at the windows on these buildings, man, it's super sharp. And if we go here to the corner of this light pole base, that is pretty sharp, even at 6.3. I mean, of course, at 6.3 it should be sharp, but it's still amazing. Now, here's what I really liked about the Sony A7RIII. Even though it's like 43 megapixels, I try not to crop in to stuff as much. But I think this next picture is going to show you why it's so dope. Let me zoom out. So this is actually, we're on the Lincoln Tunnel leaving New York. I think we had just got into Jersey, if I'm not wrong. My friend Greg, he actually had the camera out the window to try to get this picture for me. So the crop wasn't that good, but let me show you. This is what it looked like before the crop, so you can see the picture. It was pretty jacked up as far as composition, but I cropped in, and man, the detail is still pretty good, even though we were actually moving inside the car. So I really like that. 6.3. Now, I wanted to see exactly how good the camera was in low light. Sony is notorious for having great low light performance cameras. So this was actually at 4000 ISO. It was later on at that during the nighttime. So it actually looks pretty good. This is an f2, and it's not too bad. It's not too noisy. You can see a little bit of noise here in the sky, but overall, it's a decent picture. You can probably use it. It's like for an event or something like that. It's a pretty usable image. Now this was at 12,800 ISO. I did this purposely just so I can see, just how good it is. Now, I know this is only a 1.8 lens, but I think the bokeh is just enough. I know it's not 1.4, 1.2 quality, but I think the bokeh on this lens is pretty good on Sony's 50mm lens. But anyway, you can see visible noise in this image. I don't know if I would personally use it, but at least you can see what it looks like at 12,800 ISO at nighttime. Now this is a sign of a restaurant in New Jersey. It's called Cuban Pete's, like it says here, and it's an amazing place, But I wanted to get a picture of this sign. It's one of my favorite restaurants. The low light performance on this is pretty good, even at 500 ISO. I was kind of freaked out that it looked this good at 500 ISO at night. That's at 200%. So at 100%, this is still a really, really good usable image. I normally don't shoot a lot at night, but if I did, I would definitely be happy with this camera. Now, while I was at Cuban Pete, my friend Lorenzo P, he had the camera and he took a couple pictures of these rocks, and oh my God, the detail. This is at 2.8 ISO 800. Let me just zoom in and show you guys the detail on these rocks at 2.8. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it is amazing. I really, really, really am happy with the Sony A7R III. And here is another one that he took. Shout out to my homies Greg and Lorenzo for taking a couple pictures for me. Now, that is pretty much all I wanted to show you guys as far as the Sony A7R III. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be doing another extensive review where I actually shoot the things I normally shoot, which is fashion and beauty. But at the time, I'm kind of on vacation, kind of doing my thing in New York, in New Jersey. I got to go to Cali in a couple weeks, shoot out to New Orleans. Then I'll probably be back to be shooting full time. So I just wanted to drop a quick video on you guys to kind of show you some of the images that I've been getting and some of the video that I've been getting with the A7R III by Sony, along with the 50mm lens. So hope you guys enjoy. Hope it gave you some insight. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.